Good afternoon, good evening, whatever you want to call it. Nightmare weekend, horrible Sunday, the day after the nightmare show. We're all here to talk about what has gone down and almost the end of the season. We've got a lot to get through, an awful lot. There was too much that went on yesterday to dissect in a day. So we'll give it breathing room, we'll give it space, and we're going to get the guys' opinions on what went down yesterday and then obviously their thoughts on what they see going forward. Guys, get your comments in the comment section as well. Let me know what you think. Join in with the chat today. It's a therapy session more than anything. I've had to bring in all three of the big guns just to dissect what is going down. Allow me to introduce everybody on the panel today. Jamie, back from Barcelona recently as well, mate. You should have stayed there, pal. Not watched any football, but welcome back.
Thank you very much, mate. Good introduction. Nice little breakaway and then back to reality yesterday. So there we go.
That's it.
Ice cream van.
Ice cream van's coming, but it's not in. It's not in the States though, is it, mate, Doug? It's. I mean, what time of the day was you watching that game, mate? And how much of the day did it ruin for you? Because it was the end of the day for us. But for you, when did that drop down that yesterday?
So it's sort of the worst time because it's 12:30 kickoff here. So it's like you don't really want to do much in the morning, and then the game takes up till about 3, right? Yeah. So your whole afternoon is shot. And then after watching that, you're kind of just like you either go and drink or it's like the worst time. It's honestly one of the worst times.
And I know Doug because he's talked to me quite a bit, actually, via WhatsApp. He would have gone and drank, yes. So.
Yeah.
He went and drank, yes. Yeah. So, mate, you messaged me late last night. Don't know how you do it, mate. Don't know how you do it. And like looking at myself and going, I don't either.
Yeah,
mate,
man. I don't know, man.
It was an hanging day, wasn't it?
It was, man. And like I said to you, the highlight of my day was seeing you on Sky Sports, mate. That was literally the highlight. Literally, I was like, is that Adam there? And I'm sure that's Adam there. Because I know he always has his coat wrapped around his waist. I was like, yeah, that's Adam. That's Adam. And he was you just your body language and your emotion just summed everything up, mate. And
I sent him a screenshot. I'm pretty sure he was the only one that was remotely clapping because that was when Ronaldo was like bent over. And you see Adam trying to keep
trying to get them going. Yeah,
tried everything. Yeah, tried absolutely. And you know what? There at Brighton, you're very, very close. It looks like there's quite a bit of space there, but when them players are there, they can hear you. They can actually hear you. They really can. So, and there was some serious abuse coming in at them United fans, especially when the corners were coming, and everyone's seen the poster put out what was being sang in the United section. You're not fit to wear the shirt. It was just one of them days where everything just went completely wrong from the stands to the pitch. And then I'm only guessing everyone at home, and that's why I'm doing the show today, to find out how it went down from the TV, because I was working quite late and really couldn't be asked by the end of the day to catch up on anything. Watched a few highlights, watched some decent football from other games, but I'm just going to roll out a few things that came from that game today. I was like, I didn't even realize. And I go to the games and I'm like, wow, did you not pick up on that? The 5th away defeat in a row. Another record. Unbelievable. The most times United have conceded 4 or more in a game in a Premier League season. And I'm going, they just keep on coming and coming. It's going to be our worst defensive season in Premier League history. It's going to be our worst goal difference in Premier League history. It is the worst points tally in Premier League history already. And like I said, that goal difference one is what I picked up on yesterday. If we lose to Palace, we're in a negative. And how, with that firepower, that team and what we invested in the summer, I'm just sat there last night was going, how the fucking hell are we in this mess right now? We're here to dissect it. And Doug, I'm going to come to you first on this one, mate. From that game yesterday, a lot of people just said, look, it just looks like they've given up. We've said this many a times, mate, but where did that rank for you yesterday? Was it more significant that happened after an half-decent performance yesterday, and how easy it was for Potter to figure United out after that, and how he just went straight back off the cliff again after a bit of a positive week as well?
Well, I think off the Brentford game, right? Like there was some positivity. I don't think anyone was thinking we were going to go and turn the world around, but there was some positivity. We still understand that we're trying to fight for, sadly, a Europa League spot, but that's still on the line, especially after seeing what West Ham did today to Norwich, right? So we knew that there was stuff going on. And Adam, like you were saying earlier, like you're at the ground, so you don't get to hear everything. And I'm not sure. I'm guessing there's different commentators on Sky than there would be for us on NBCSN. But they made a comment 8-9 minutes in where they're like, there is no life out of this United side right now. 8 to 9 minutes in, they're like, they've shown nothing yet. They're like, they were stunned. They're like, where's the fight? Where's the energy? We haven't seen anything. They've had barely any possession. They've been pinned back the entire time. And that was 8 to 9 minutes in. So that just progressed, obviously, through the remainder of it. And it just got worse and worse in the second half. And so at this point, we knew that we've been saying all along this whole season was inconsistency, right? And yesterday was probably the shining example of that, where a lot of people were saying, including us last week, don't try to make too many subs. Don't change the lineup too much. You played well against Brentford. Let's see how it goes against Brighton. Same sort of lineup, much different result. And I'm just at a loss right now with this entire team, including Ragnick. And I'm not, we'll probably touch on it, but I'm blaming him for some of the subs and stuff. But, I just don't even know where to go anymore with these guys. And I honestly, I messaged you yesterday. I was like, just end the season. Like, honestly, I know we only have one left, but if you could just throw in the white towel now, I would just end it. I'd be like,
exactly that.
Chris,
Throw the white towel in.
Chris G stream there, mate, 100%. I would. I'd have gone on that pitch and done a better job yesterday. I mean, I can only give. By the way, everybody who sent me multiple pictures of my ugly mush all over Sky. I got loads. I've got like a little catalogue of them now, all different angles. So yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. But what you wouldn't have seen on TV was the fans that were actually, some were trying to get on the pitch to vent their frustration at the players. There was a moment, I don't know if it picked up, when Diogo Dalot was just stood there looking at every single United fan in the stand, like staring them out, just pumping his chest, pumping the badge. And the abuse he was getting, there is a complaint. We've said this for a long time now, but it was something different about yesterday, where it's like Bruno had to actually come out and apologise yesterday. I've not heard him do that as much this season, but the fact that they just took a nosedive straight down that tunnel again, most of them did anyway, got away from the fans, easy option out. That yesterday was it was one of them moments when you just thought, this is the end for nearly every single one of these. I mean, Saeed, mate, from TV yesterday, I'm sure it was as obvious as it was from the side of the pitch at how easy it was for Brighton, just because they had more fight and they had more energy about them. They wanted to actually work. And I spoke to a Brighton fan outside. I was actually surprised, quite well educated, the Brighton fans, in terms of like what this United team as well. But every single Brighton fan that came up to us outside yesterday was actually saying, look, we're actually amazed. We didn't believe the hype, because we beat these 2-0. We didn't believe the hype, Saeed. But when we seen it in front of our faces, we were absolutely astonished at how poor and how much of a lack of effort there was from the Red players.
Yeah, mate. You know what, man? For me, it was an absolute domination. We had a few chances, Cavani. Well, you know what? To be honest with you, that was when the game was dead and buried. I've never seen, like, I think I have seen it, but to this alarming rate, how much we got dominated and schooled. I think there's been a few games where you're thinking, yeah, you know what? We've had a few opportunities, and against Everton, the first 10, 15 minutes started a bit strong, Rashford and whatnot. This was total domination by players who, for me, this is Adam. I came outside to you against Brighton. Was it when we went 2-0? We should not have won that game, If it wasn't for that red card, Brighton would have won that game. And they dominated us with 10 men. And I came out a bit negative, and everyone was saying to me, oh, well, what do you mean? We dominated the game. I said, no, I think this season, when you look at Man United's games, it's De Gea and Ronaldo that have been keeping us above height, mate. And I think we're the worst team in the Premier League. And a lot of people are going to disagree with me and say, well, how can that be so when Norwich are down? But we've got the individual qualities that sets us different from them that are in the relegation fodder. Ronaldo has got us out of games, and David De Gea has kept us in games. Let's be honest with ourselves, people. Ronaldo and De Gea have kept this season. You know what? Where it is right now, and that's seventh position. And Doug, you make a good point there. If West Ham beat West Ham, okay, they lose to Thingy, Man City, it still goes down to the last season. And I think we're getting beat last season, and I think we're going to Conference League. So United fans, we're in the Conference League next season because West Ham, I think they got an away game, I think, something like that, but they should beat them. So for me, it's capitulation, mate. When they say throw it, being on the beach, they were literally on the beach in Brighton. That's no pun intended. They were on the beach. And I just want to finish off with this one. We rejected Caicedo for 7 million, but yet we've got Scott McTominay. For me, I don't know what it is with him. I don't know what this club have on him. Think there's an ex-coming of Roy Keane and whatnot.
Oh, I hope we talk about him. Oh,
mate, honestly, man, guys, man, McTominay should not be playing for this football club. And it's not just him, by the way, but every time this club keep thinking it's their child, is Man United born and bred and all that. Forget all that nonsense. It's about quality, Adam. I want to see quality. And Man United don't have quality. Caicedo cost 7 million. We didn't want him. The Man United board said that we don't want to give a striker. What's going on with this football club, man? Like, there's no quality. Brighton have a better team than us. We have better individuals, but a team makes where you're going to go. And we just don't have a team.
Simple. I mean, Jamie, you've not been on for a few weeks now, mate. I mean, I can't remember which game it was when you was on last speaking. But have you seen this sort of result coming? Obviously we're not surprised because we've seen this all season, but the absolute capitulation which was yesterday, and it wasn't Brighton playing brilliant, it was just Brighton working harder. I mean, for you watching that yesterday, where did it go wrong for you? Is it simply the effort there, or is it like Saeed said, then some of the quality in that United team? I asked Brighton fans outside, and normally it'd be like, which one of these Brighton players would get into this United team? I had to switch it yesterday, Jamie. I was like saying, which one of these United players would you put into your team? And I'll let everyone have a guess in the comment section and the other guys on the panel. Guess how many they picked. But Jamie, where did that go wrong first for you yesterday?
I think it's gone wrong all season, to be honest with you. I think, like one Saeed mentioned a minute ago about potentially going in the Europa League conference. If you remember, after the Aston Villa game, when I done the fan cam with you, I said that we wasn't getting the Champions League. You asked me the question, we were title challengers. I said no. And then I says, I can't see us getting Champions League. So I've kind of seen this coming, to be honest with you. I don't know when I seen it. I just had a feeling that some things were going wrong. And you even called it after the Newcastle game, didn't you? Only one, when Ronaldo's first game. You spoke about it multiple times. And you were worried by that performance. And there's too many performances that have led to us not being... It's kind of expected that yesterday. I don't know what it was like in the stadium. I was watching on my couch, but I wasn't shocked. And to be honest with you, I don't know if you boys feel the same. Do let me know if it's the case. But I feel hollow to this team. I feel nothing for them. And do you know what it is? I'm 32 years of age. Like, I've watched Man United since a young boy, and I've never looked at the team and just thought, I have nothing towards you. I don't like the squad of players. Like, I can't relate to them at all. Like, I obviously just feel for the fans. You lads, Saeed and yourself, Adam, go to all the home games and all the away games. And I just look at this team now, and it doesn't surprise me. Like, that result yesterday didn't surprise me at all. I was watching it on the couch, and my girlfriend was like sitting next to me sniggering. She's obviously a Liverpool fan. And I was just like, I'm not even shocked. And my phone was lighting up from my friends over here in Newcastle giving it to me. And I'm just like, it just doesn't surprise me. Like, and I don't know whether that's normal or not. Like, but I just feel so empty with this team. And like, I know you said like this could be a post-mortem for the majority of the team, that these players some of them are just not going to be here anymore. I just don't. The bigger issue for me is like they don't want to learn. Like it didn't work under Ollie.
Like what Ronaldo said first half of the season in that interview.
Yeah, exactly that. He nailed it on the head then, and that was the red flag. Like when a senior player of that elite level is coming up and questioning the attitude and mentality of the players, that's a massive red flag for me. And Ranić might not have been the right man to bring in hindsight, yeah? But at the end of the day, he did come in and he did have a philosophy of how he wanted to play. He tried to implement it against Crystal Palace, which I've said multiple times on here. And that's the only one we got. When the going got tough, the players down tools and they didn't want to work hard. And do you know what? Take away the level of football that they play. I'm sure all of you have played football at some sort of level. It comes down to the individual sometimes. And if you don't want to run, you don't want to put the hard yards in, and you don't want to stick to a game plan, you're in trouble. And at the top level, you can see some of them are hiding. I said to you after the Everton game, some of the players are scared of the stadium. And what I meant by that was they're scared of the fans because we still have an expectation to live up to. And some of the players are just scared. And I seen that yesterday in performances. Tellez, I thought, was awful yesterday. That lot's been found out. Like, these players that we thought were good enough are not good enough. And that is the cold, hard truth of it. And the problem is, sorry, I'm going on a bit here. The problem is you can't get rid of all of these in one summer. You just can't. So it's going to take time. And unfortunately, the likes of Maguire, I mean, I'm not going back on what I said about Luke Shaw either. I would sell him. You look at Cucurella yesterday, like, that's a left back. That's an attacking left back that uses the ball well. And the thing is with Brighton, going back to what you initially said to me about the Brighton game, they're well coached. They're not as good of football players as us, but they're well coached, they're well drilled, they know how to play in and out of possession, they know their shape, they know their structure, they know who to get on the ball quickly. They've got a solid base with Caicedo, like Saeed said, who we turned our noses up at, and Basuma, another really good player on the cheap, and they've brought them in, Trossard, players that nobody knew of, and they look like a solid team. And they didn't have a recognised striker yesterday, and they played with us because they followed a game plan. With our players, we don't even know what a game plan is.
No, we've not had one for a long time. I mean, Doug, Jamie's just talked about can't get rid of all them players in one summer. We know we can't, but I know you're dying to get your teeth into this one individual in particular. I think he is going to be here next season, mate. Is this where we are going wrong in terms of Scott McTominay actually trying to make him or convince people that he is that player? Because for me, he's clearly not. And again, yesterday, he's supposed to be the heartbeat. He's supposed to be the United, the one with the arrogant attitude in interviews. He went cowering away yesterday because I know his game. Watching him week in, week out, all he does when the going gets tough, he's dropped deeper and deeper and deeper. So he's got more and more time on the ball. And you know what? Brighton just pushed up onto that and said, you're not having it today. And he was exposed for me more than any other player.
Yeah, I've been on him for years now, and I still don't understand it. And I understand that Fergie likes him and Mourinho liked him and everyone keeps talking about him. And even yesterday, what drove me up an absolute cliff, I forget exactly who was commentating. I think it was Peter Drury and somebody else yesterday. And two things. So one, on the first one, they blamed Lindelof. They didn't even mention McTominay not closing down, but they blamed Lindelof for it going through his legs. Now, again, when you look at the sequence of events, it started with Tellez, right?
Oh, Tellez took my brunt for that one.
But by the time it got out there, and again, like Jamie said, we've all played. You understand your role as a CDM, or if they were playing, even more of a stopper, you get out to the ball and you close down. McTominay, again, was flat-footed and didn't get out there enough time. Lindelof, I don't know why he had his legs so open, but he was sort of blocked off by McTominay by he got there. I'm not giving Lindelof a pass either on that. And then you can't blame De Gea because he could see none of that when you watch that view from above. So that's been a consistent thing all year with him, is he doesn't close down. He literally runs away from receiving the ball, and then he runs or hides from actually going and closing down. And then later, after he committed, I don't know, his 7th foul, they're sitting there going, they sit there and they go, well, this is what McTominay does. This is what he's good at. I'm like, you just said that he's good at committing fouls. I literally got up and I was like,
he's not even good at that though.
I was literally standing up like screaming and almost punching my wall because I was like, you didn't even make it a negative. You made it a positive that he just committed his 6th or 7th foul. and you said, this is what he's good at. For the life of me, I cannot understand why this kid gets so
26,
much.
mate. Let's not even call him
26.
anymore.
Yeah, no.
This guy gets
Yeah.
so much of a free pass in everyone's eyes. And F the interviews and everything else. And he runs hard, he tries hard in practice. I don't care. All four of us have eyes. Everyone in the stands, everyone watching has eyes. This kid, this guy is not it. And for everyone that keeps protecting him, I swear to God, they just get dumber and dumber and they lose more and more credibility. And again, like Saeed said, he's not the only one. He really isn't. But it's the amount of free passes because Maguire doesn't get free passes anymore from literally anyone. Because I think even the media somewhat has been he's really not that good.
It's the interviews though, Doug. It's the interviews after. They got to try hard.
De Gea gives the same level of interviews. He's just more soft-spoken. And I'm sorry, wasn't it McTominay who was the same guy that basically when he was, who was it? Somebody made a comment about the amount of passes he gave away or something. And he's like, well, it's just one. It was one.
Yeah.
Might be him.
And I'm like,
it was McTominay. It was McTominay.
Quit with the smart-ass attitude. They're calling you out for something you don't do very well. And even if we want to take it from the mindset of, well, we're forcing him to play CDM and he's not a CDM. I can't even imagine him as a box-to-box. He doesn't make enough passes. And even the passes that he does go for are very simple, obvious ones that all four of us could make. And people are acting like he's prime Iniesta or somebody else on the ball. And I'm like, I could stand there. And
he's not even prime Cleverly. It's not even prime Cleverly was better. And Cleverly was underappreciated by the fans.
It's
what I mean?
It's
honestly, mate.
I mean, Said, mate, I know you've had a thingy with him, Mark, but Jerome T. Green, cheers for the super chat, mate. McTominay wouldn't even get into the midfield for Brentford. Why is he starting for us? I mean, on that side, our midfield, I would say, is probably the worst in the top 10.
Easy.
And pushing some of them teams in the bottom half of the table as well, mate. I mean, I would probably take Romeo and Prowse over what we've got all day of the week, mate.
All day.
They know their roles. And you know what? We can all
roles.
make excuses like Doug said there. Yeah, he's been moved from pillar to post here and there. We still don't know what his best position is. What position did he come into this team and why did he make it into the first team? He must have been playing a position then. He knows it. Why don't that big mouth of his open and actually say, look, I can't play this position. There's got to be someone better. But no. Not. He only plays it was only once, like he said in that interview. And I said this a while ago. The youth players from Manchester United, the current crop that think they've already made it, are a big part of the problem right now.
Absolutely. For me, someone saying in the comments there, it should be alarming that if he doesn't play in Scotland's midfield, then why should he play in Man United's midfield? You know what I mean? That's for me the biggest issue right there. He doesn't even play. It's damning. It's damning. And I don't know how John Myrtle, I think when Rangnick and Mourinho say it, it's because they see something in him that he tries that everyone else doesn't try. So they look forward to that little thing that people might pick up on. So they're not bothered about quality. They just want people to try. And when they see McTominay trying, but not necessarily have the ability, they may be a bit soft towards him. But that's the manager's point of view. We'll never understand what their kind of viewpoint is. But as fans, we see it week in, week out, and we don't have biases towards any players. We want every player to do well. So when we see it week in, week out, that for me is hiding away from the ball. I mean, I see it at Old Trafford every day, and I'm on the East Stand level 2. I can see the full pitch. McTominay never wants to receive the ball in tight spaces. Where these guys like Rodri, the best midfielders in the world, Thiago, all these players that want to receive the ball in tight spaces and move it forward, not sideways. I felt sorry for Matic yesterday. Did anyone feel sorry for Matic yesterday? I felt he had to do 2 jobs at once.
I did.
And he got hooked off. And I was like, I was doing a watch along yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, how has he been hooked off before McTominay? And I'm not saying Matic had a good game, but it's just showing you that Matic got a bit frustrated. I think there was a time when Matic didn't need to foul the player, and he fouled him. And maybe that's what Ralph Rangnick's picking up on, saying, oh my God, he's losing his discipline here. But because McTominay's not getting himself in positions. But then McTominay does about 6 fouls, doesn't get a yellow card. And I'm just thinking to myself, he can't even tackle, Doug. When you're talking about tackling, Doug, he doesn't even tackle. And that's the damnest thing about it. Like, at least have some sort of quality of Roy Keane. Roy Keane could put a tackle in and win the ball. What do? And that's the problem we've got to have. This summer, for me, honestly, if you told me, Adam, yeah, there was 10 players going out, but there's no players going in, I'm not even kidding you. I'd be happy with that. If I knew 10 players are going and 10 players are not coming in, I'm happy. I'm seriously, guys, because for me, at least we're getting rid of Ted Wood, and then next summer we can play a bit of youth in. We might not get. I know we're not getting top 4 next season. That's why I'm not kind of disappointed next season. Get rid of the Deadwood, take 10 out, then bring in the youth in, and you know what? I'm happy with that because at least then remove the toxicity, remove the Deadwood out, and then we can just go forward. And every step after that is going forward. We're not going backwards. But I feel like you go and get 2 players in now. With the Deadwood inside, it becomes Deadwood. You have to get rid of the Deadwood first and then move forward. That's all you're going to do. If you don't do that, I'm sorry, it's going to be same old garbage. It's exactly that, mate.
That's it. I mean, Jamie, anything to add on to that bit? I think Doug and Saeed,
I don't know if I can top a Saeed rant. Yeah, I'll have to. I'll leave
Jamie, though, mate, it's like you said it before, it goes back. It's been happening for a while, but just on the youth players at the moment, and you know what? I tested the water yesterday. I think on United Stand, I think it was like I don't know how many views it was. It was a lot. But I went in on Anthony Elanga as well yesterday. I said 20 odd games.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You should. I'm not going to bail you out just because you're a youth player and you come into a crap team. You've had 20 odd games now. You know what's coming. You're a United player. Man, he was shit. I'm not. It's a spade at the end of the day. And yet, young, great attitude, says the right thing. Unlike McTominay, I can't even fault him for that. And you know what? Hopefully, we'll get better. But basics, mate. Basics. That's not there. Even with the likes of Elanga, is that what this team has done to him? Just shot his confidence that the pressure is that high, and we're relying on a player that's just come through this season. Should Ralph even recognise that and go, maybe I should protect these players for the likes of Ten Hag, because we've seen what's happened to the likes of Rashford now. We've seen what's happened to some of our younger players that have come through. We talked about McTominay there. You've mentioned Greenwood, Rashford, Lingard. That same path over this last 10 years since Alex Ferguson left, the youth players have really suffered, and some careers have just gone down the grid, mate. But yesterday, for me, Elanga, wow, mate, I was like, I knew at half time he was coming off, mate. And I was on the side of the pitch, so I didn't hear what the commentary was saying or what you guys were thinking or what anyone was commenting. I knew he was coming off at half time because he was diabolical.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I watched your post match as well, and I heard you obviously have a little go in on him as well. But you wasn't wrong with what you were saying. Do you know what I mean? It probably is a difficult one to sort of criticize the boy in general. But like you say, he has played 20 games this season. Do you know what I mean? That's games for a young player, and I feel like some credit needs to be given to Ralph that he's actually stuck with him, because I feel like experience-wise, the boy will grow from this. Like seeing the mentality of the players like Ronaldo and stuff. He's obviously spoke about that, and that's gonna help him. And I feel like to a certain extent, he was poor yesterday, but you can spin it round and say a boy's come in from the reserves and completely showed up players like Rashford. You know what I mean? So you can look at it that way as well. I think yesterday it just wasn't his game. I mean, he's an inside forward winger, which I'm not too keen on them. I like proper out and out wingers, but that's just me. Like players that can get to the byline and cross the ball. He's very much an inside forward type player. Is he going to be a winger longer term? I don't know. Is he more suited through the middle? I don't know. Time will tell. But I think Ralph's got to be given a little bit of credit for. He's one of them players that we all looked upon to think this kid has got potential. And there's no point bringing through youth players and having such a great team. We're in the Youth Cup final in a couple of days and not giving them an opportunity. I think that's United's biggest problem. Give them the opportunity, the ones that are standing out, give them an opportunity to show that they actually can be a part of the starting team. And I feel like with Ten Hag coming in, we will see that, like Hannibal, the McNeils, like they're quality players, you know, but you're only going to find out whether they're good enough if they're given an opportunity. And I'm hoping maybe if Saeed's right, we'll get that. We'll get an influx of them players coming through, and Ten Hag will be able to coach them, because these players in the squad at the moment, they're uncoachable. They've proved it, and I don't even feel comfortable with giving any of them another chance, because they've down tools too much for me. And you can get away with certain things in football, but lack of effort and down tools in season when you're playing for Man United, I'm sorry. And it's I think with Alanga, partly yesterday, he was playing on the same side of the pitch as probably the best player on the pitch, Cucurella. And he's a proper defender, he's a proper left back. And you look at our left backs, Tellez and Luke Shaw, they can't lace Cucurella's boots. And he plays for Brighton. I'd take both their fullbacks. I know you mentioned Lamptey last time I was on the show, Adam, that you'd take him at right back. Do you know what I mean? And these players are playing for Brighton. Like, you got to start looking at and thinking, I know it's a bit off topic, but why are we not recruiting these players? Like, why are they slipping through the net, the Cucurellas, for cheap money? Hopefully now the scouts have left, we're going to get that opportunity to maybe pick up a little gem here and there. But if you don't give the youth a chance, you're never going to know. And Saeed's bang on what he's saying. Maybe it's time to ship out the dead and then give the opportunity, because that's the only way we're going to find out whether they're good enough. And some might not be good enough, but they've got to be given the opportunity.
Yeah, but that's where I like everything that's happening right now to a certain extent. And actually, it's I like that the super chat that's up from Prem Prodigy, because this is something we've been talking about, right? Where it's twofold. One, you can give the youth a chance, but you have to clear out the negative people, because these are young, influenceable minds that will come up, and they probably have seen the likes of Rashford and Lingard and said, wow, these guys were just like me. They came through the academy. They did this. They're going to try to, of course, these guys are going to be like, hey, I'm going to look after our own. These are youth academy players. So they're going to sit there and start talking to them about how to be a Manchester United player and do this and do that. And these guys are going to feed into that. So that's where I agree with Saeed on. You have to get not only the lack of talent out, but just the people who are going to be a negative influence when Ten Hag is trying to do his thing. And then to Prem Prodigy's point, we sit here almost every summer and January talking about transfers. And we keep talking about the fact that we could bring in just about anyone. But with the shit show that we've had from a managerial standpoint, and also the board and Ed Woodward, no player could come in and really actually thrive and get better and do well. It doesn't matter. Like, we keep talking about Messi could come in and not do well. Haaland could come in and not do well. And that's true, because at this point, and that's why I'm glad that we're getting Ten Hag, but there's so much more that has to happen. We have not had, and this is also where I'm not going to go on a rant right now, but this is also where I've been so pissed off at how stupid we've been with the whole Solskjaer thing, because we wasted so much time, and this is an end product of what happened with all of that shit that went down. And so you have to do a massive, massive clear out of so many people, both player-wise and personnel-wise. Then you have to start shifting the mindset that it's Ten Hag as the boss, right? It's not players, it's not the board, it's Ten Hag. So anyone who doesn't fit into that, he needs to have full authority to boot. You're gone. It doesn't matter, right?
I hope Rangnick tells him that, by the way.
Well, and then bit by bit, we start looking like a Liverpool or a City, where we have a cohesive team. There's not all this infighting that's happening. It's not all the players are against the manager and we don't like him and they don't like them and we have these cliques. No, we move as a cohesive group, and that's evident by how we play.
On that, you did right there. And to go back onto Prem's super chat there, it's so much picking out individuals or giving Ralph Rangnick a free ride. I went in on Rangnick yesterday. Yeah. I want a manager to be given everything that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was given. I want that 3 years. I want that 100-odd million every single summer. A player for every single position and more Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was given.
But he didn't get a striker though, did he, Adam? He wanted a striker in January.
He got Cavani. Do you know what I mean? Greenwood came through the system there.
Oh, he's talking about Rangnick, I think. He's talking about Rangnick wanted a striker.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Rangnick. Yeah, Rangnick got given absolutely.
And a midfielder.
I suppose that was the downside of the interim failure. I mean, we sort of were convinced that, well, we weren't convinced. We was thinking, right, okay, we've got an actual coach here. And obviously, he was restricted on who he could bring in as well. Thrown into the fire there. He was handed Darren Fletcher and said Darren Fletcher has to be there because everyone else left. He wanted certain people to stay with him, but they didn't stay. And then the players, well, this is it. They're not his players. They're not his players. I'm not letting him off for some of the stuff. I mean, inside just today, you touched on a minute ago there. How Ranić bought Matic off the pitch yesterday. I was like, I went, that was the complete wrong decision by Ranić yesterday. That was.
I think he's checked out,
wow, mate. Got that wrong there.
Yeah, I criticised that. I was going mad, mate, because I was like, McTominay instead of Matic? Like, what's going on? Like, I didn't get that, but I really, really think that he's just checked out. Even Rangnick's checked out, and he's like, you know what? Get me to Austria, mate. Get me back. Apparently, he's back home in Germany, apparently, already. Like, he wasted no time getting on that flight to Germany. So, apparently, he's back home, is doing a few things and whatnot. So, it doesn't blame me. And you know what, mate? I wish I could blame Rangnick for certain decisions, but ultimately, when I look at what's going on the pitch, it's far more stronger, and the feeling is far more stronger. I don't know about you guys, but I want to talk about Lindelof. Still, I'm not convinced by this guy. Yesterday, for me, the guy was squatting for the first goal, and in the second goal, he's pointing at McTominay to go and pick him up, and then he puts his hands behind his back again. I'm like, oh my God. I don't want to do that thing where I say, what would have Vidic done? What would Roy Keane done? But come on, Lindelof. It feels like the old tendencies always comes back to bite him. Linda soft. I said it outside Sheffield United. I don't know if you remember, Adam. Yeah, when we were 3-3. Linda soft. I mean, he is so soft. And for me, like I said, Tellez was at fault. McTominay didn't get close. But come on, mate. You've already got your hands behind your back. Like, what sort of intent are you? What sort of image are you trying to show that you're trying to block the ball? You had your hands behind your back. You're almost giving in. It's submission. You know what I mean?
The whole back four looked terrible yesterday.
And Varane as well.
Varane didn't have he didn't cover himself in flowers either. I mean,
you know what? On that one, I want to touch on that actually because I've got a funny story behind it. Because a Brighton fan who follows me on here and the United stand came over, was talking to me before the game. He was just talking like how Brighton work and how they run. And we got into Ben White, and he said, you guys should have bought Ben White. He was a good player, quality on the ball. And said, yeah, but we got Varane. And you know what? We're better with Varane in the team. You watch today, we don't concede as many goals. And I actually said it in my fan blog after the game. I went to the Brighton fan I was speaking to before the game. I held my hands up. Varane.
How about Lewis Dunk though, Adam? Lewis Dunk. You know what I mean? Like, he's a good defender. He kept a clean sheet yesterday.
It's the sum of all the parts, though. Like that, when you can't win the midfield battle, it puts pressure on your back four, and then when your back four plays as shit as ours did yesterday, it really doesn't help anything. So, just that's what we're saying is that whole from top to bottom yesterday, every single one of them was just absolute shit. It was just awful.
It was ridiculous. I mean, Jamie, the defense. We said it before. We can't replace every position. I'm looking at him going. I'm thinking Bailly and Jones are both off in the summer.
Yep.
Saeed's just talked about Lindelof there. We've got Maguire as an issue. He's the club captain who can't even get a place in the starting lineup when fit, and then doesn't even get given the armband when he comes on. That's that mess. We've got Varane now, who is out of form as well, who was our sort of shining light. That's too much to do in the summer, mate, considering the rest of the issues we've got all around the pitch. Yesterday, the defence, like we said at the top of the show, we literally are our worst defensive season ever. And you know what? Add that defence up, tally up the numbers in that defence and what we spent on it. And that comes back down to, like what Prem said, the coaching, the scouting, like Doug said, everything like that, Jamie.
Yeah, we need a new defence, don't we? We literally need a new defence, but we've got far too many players. I'm seeing people on, and I'm not knocking Brandon Williams. I think he's a decent young player, but United fans are asking for him to come back in. He's on loan at Norwich, you know. I'm not
desperation, mate.
That's desperation. Yeah, I'm not having a dig at the. He's got a little bit of ability and he gets stuck in and stuff, but is he not another McTominay? And I don't want to get Doug started on McTominay again. But he tries hard, and he's got a little bit of ability, of course he has. But when we're asking for him to come back in to replace Shaw and Telles, like that's a massive red flag, man. You know, and the thing is, Varane's dropped to the level of Lindelof and Maguire, and I get it. Like he's not playing next to that caliber of player that he was at Madrid. He's played practically his whole career next to Sergio Ramos. I mean, he's not bad, is he, Ramos? So it's a case of he's come into this team and he's playing with. He just doesn't have any stability from the fullbacks. They're not doing their role, so therefore he's trying to do their role as well as his own role, and he's got someone next to them that has no pace. And to be fair, I feel a bit for Varane. I feel like he's been a decent signing, but in a very bad team. You know, he gets no support from the midfield, which we've worked out already. And just the whole structure of the team doesn't help the centre-back pairing. And Maguire's been atrocious this year, but that's just, again, it's this bad recruitment. You buy bad players, you have a bad team eventually. And unfortunately, we've got Bissaka, not good enough, Dalot, not good enough, Maguire, not good enough, Lindesoft, as Saeed called it, which I did enjoy that one. He's not good enough. Luke Shaw, Telles, they all need replaced, but you can't do it in a summer. So we're gonna have to maybe go and buy one or two centre backs if we can. It's all about the budget, ain't it? And Ten Hag prioritizing players, but I'm sure with a little bit of structure and a little bit of man management and a little bit of understanding of the roles in the team, we can potentially make some of them players better. Is Lindelof going to be better, more ball-playing defender in a Ten Hag team? Is Luke Shaw going to be a bit more of a progressive left-back? Tagliafico pushes up a lot more in the Ajax team on the left than the right-back does. Is that going to benefit Shaw? I don't know, but time will tell. But we need some fresh faces. I said a little while ago, this squad's stale, Adam. Some of them players have been there too long, and they're just comfortable collecting their wages, and they don't want to be challenged, and they've proved they're uncoachable, some of them, and time's up for me with some of them.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. I mean, like Prem says there, he's still going in on the setup and how Ralph is working it. You can't tell me they're all bad players. I mean, individual errors, we ain't got enough pieces of paper to count them this season from players. That's the problem. You cannot tell me that they haven't been put on that pitch of a plan and they've not been able to implement it. I mean,
we used to defend well, though, Adam. We did defend well on the start of Ragnick, but I just feel like for me, the players, the mask has been unveiled on these players. They've been exposed. And now the true reality is, I don't think we would have got this. We got it under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I felt like under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was like, yeah, don't worry, guys. It's all happy family here. It's all good. Don't worry. The guys know the DNA. They care. I feel like that's what kind of masked everything. Now Ralph Ragnick is saying, well, this is what we got to do. We need to buy 10 players. 10 players are leaving. He's trying to tell us what we need, but the club are just not listening. If they don't listen this summer, I'll tell you what, mate, probably it could get really, really peak next season. Because people think that Ten Hag's just going to come in and fix all this mess, mate. Nah, man, the board have got to back him, and they've got to make sure people leave. They've got to make sure people leave, man.
We look so unfit as well, don't we? Like, we look so unfit. Like, I don't know what it's like at the stadium every week, Adam, but God almighty, on the telly yesterday, I was like, they look knackered.
That there, I can bring Prem's super chat into that one there. There's no excuse for players being unfit, and that does come down to coaching levels, fitness coaches, and everything like that. It is.
We might not be. Adam, just for
my internet just went out there. I think. Did I just go? Yeah, I think I did.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I think it's. I see what Jamie's saying, but I also think it's like we've been saying, which is their downing tools and their lack of effort is just appalling. Because I watched the Liverpool Spurs game yesterday, and Liverpool are playing way more often every week than we are. And those guys are out there still flying around 110% all the time.
Into the higher echelons of injury time as well, mate.
Right.
Extra time and everything like that.
So our fitness department might not be great, and we know it's been a problem for a long time because we seem to have repetitive injuries over and over and over again. But yesterday was just a complete lack of effort. Because going back to something Adam was talking about with Alenga, there was a moment, maybe 20, 25 minutes in, where we were trying to play out of the back. And there was a 50-50 ball that Alenga, had he actually put forth some effort, would have gotten there first. But he got beat off the ball and we lost possession. And then that started another set of little errors from him. And that's where I was saying is he looked like he was running yesterday at about 50, 60, 70%, not his usual 80, 90% sprint, get after people, try to get after the ball, get out there. And that's just where, whether it's fitness, whether it's mentality, yesterday, no one actually seemed like they gave a damn, right? And that's why it was so disheartening to watch Ronaldo stand up there visibly laughing.
Yeah,
because he's like, what the hell do you want me to do? And then again, like going back to the commentators, they're sitting there yesterday saying, what's Ronaldo done today? What do you mean, what's Ronaldo done today? He had absolutely nothing happening for him. And again, I'm not saying that he should be given a pass per se, but what did anyone expect him to do when they were down our throats pretty much the entire match? Like, when did we have a spell of possession that was consistent in their end? Consistent.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, I think we came alive when they scored that first goal a little bit, but then to just take your foot off the pedal again. And the reaction at half time is the biggest thing for me, which tells me exactly what is wrong with this team at the moment, that they just don't listen to any instruction. Now you can call that bad coaching, not getting the message across, or the players just simply just having no respect for who's in charge, because there's no way you can be that switched off for the start of a second half, having been so poor. I said at half time, I went, there's one good thing from this. We're not actually 2 or 3 goals down. We're actually still in the game. And we kicked off the second half. The game was over straight away. United fans on the 7 o'clock train. There's a picture on social media of the train station just not too far away from the actual ground. There's a picture on social media. I think it was Samuel Luckhurst who put it on, or it might have, I can't remember which journalist it was. One of the two of United fans at 7 o'clock. Now, if you're good at maths, you'll figure out that you'd have to come out of the stadium, get up to the train station, and make that train in good time. So figure out exactly what time them fans were leaving the stadium.
Half time, I'm guessing.
Unbelievable. Fans just giving up on this team. And like we said at the top of the show, it's a long way to go just to go, I can't be bothered. I can't even bother sticking it out. People travelling the full length of the country near enough and not even being bothered to wait it out till the end says that these fans have just completely lost it with these players. The disconnect is too much and they could not give a toss. And the fact that, well, all these other teams around us that we just mentioned there, like Doug did, bring you in on this one side now, mate. And like, we've got these games to play for. City today pretty much putting one hand on the trophy. Liverpool still cup final this week and still got the Champions League and still pushing City all the way. Chelsea in, even though they're having a rough time, in for the FA Cup this weekend. Solid in the Champions League. Tottenham, Arsenal fighting for top 4. United, second week of May. We're on holiday, mate, and the season's not finished.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? They're going on holiday. And then, that even makes fifth time this season. You know what? That's another stat. That's another stat. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Even when we had all them COVID tests and all that, there was a lot of teams saying, "Oh, are United taking longer than they need?" etc., etc. So, for me, I feel like it's even more worrying for Crystal Palace game that they've got another break, because then at least Crystal Palace will be at least trying to train or something, or trying to see how they can work things out and finish as strong as possible. Because for them, every position that they go up in, it's more money, isn't it? More revenue for them. And they'll need it more than us.
Exactly.
Whereas we're not bothered. And for us, it literally is Europa League or Conference League. And I feel like they're not even bothered, man, for even Europa League, just to even give, Ten Hag a chance to get in the Champions League position. Because I kid you not, man, I don't think we're getting Champions League football next season in terms of, finishing fourth. Like, what makes you believe that United can finish fourth next season after this season's happening and the amount of stuff that Ten Hag, I just don't see it. That's why, for me, I'm not confident next season. it's a slow rebuild. It's a slow process. And for me, I think United fans just got to stick in and just hope for the best. But that's what we've been calling it for the last 9 years. It's 9 years to the day that Alex Ferguson left his position. And boy oh boy, are we missing him, because it's not good right now, man. And like I said to you, I just want for me the season to end, and that's it, mate. You know what I mean? Just a clean slate, mate. Forget everything happened this season, because this is the worst season I've ever seen, like ever, mate, ever.
Hey, everyone knows Graham, who comes on the fan vlogs with me and does and gives his opinion. He says it literally is worse than Dave Sexton. And back then, this club sacked Dave Sexton after going on a horrible run, but then winning 7 games in a row. They still sacked him after winning 7 in a row. This team haven't won 3 in a row all season. And it tells you where we're at right now and how this club has changed. But that there is everything, Jamie. I mean, the fans, the reaction to the players' reaction to that. It'd be interesting to know how many other players from other squads this season have actually been on breaks as much as we have as well, because I'm guessing it's not as half as many. And you know what? Going back to what Said just said, touched on something just there. We should have known early doors in Ralph's tenure, because Ralph took the opportunity not to play that Brentford game when we all know we had enough players. And for me, him taking that time off to actually do some more work on what we should have known then, that he realised how poor the fitness was probably out of anything with this team. Because you said it yesterday, mate. I looked at Juan Mata after half an hour. Oh man, the guy looked like he'd been on a sunbed for 50 minutes. His face was that red. He was blowing out of his ass, mate. The fitness levels are shocking, Jamie. And you know what? Ralph probably picked up on that, and he's just doing what he can with the squad he's got. But it just shows you the levels and how far it's dropped down right now with everything, and how bad, like Said said, worst season ever in the Premier League.
Yeah, it goes from worse to worse every single week. Like, the level of performance on the pitch is awful. I hate to bang on about it, but it's the structure in the club. Like, if you don't want to win from the top, you've got no chance. It always filters that. They always say shit filters down, And I feel like that the wrong people are in the wrong positions making important decisions.
Mate, just to touch you on that, it's not even filtered down, mate. It's just fucking waterfall, fucking straight down, just covering everyone. It's not
I was having a chat with one of my friends earlier. He's a Liverpool fan. He was giving me a little bit of stick and the DM on Twitter, and I was having a bit of banter. And I just said to him, "Look, like, I'm taking my L's. We're all taking our L's this year, and it's hard. You know what I mean? Like, it is hard to motivate yourself to watch them. I'm honestly, credit to you boys that go and watch this team, because I've been a few times with you, and very nice of you to have me up there, Adam. And it's been hard to watch like on the telly most weeks, And I was just like, look, if you don't have the right structure at the club and the end goal, this is what happens, Like, there's no secret as to why there's so many issues at the club, because we've got people that generally just do not care. And I know you can keep talking about the Glazers until you're red in the face. There's protests every single game at the moment about it, but until they're gone, we're not going to get that clear mindset of wanting to win. I feel for Ten Hag. I've done my research on him. I quite like Ajax. I'm a big lover of Johan Cruyff, so I like Ajax as well. And he's got a massive job on his hands, and I feel like like Doug said it earlier, I said it last time I was on the show as well. He has to be given free rein, and it's going to be a slow ride, and there's probably going to be more pain, and no doubt there'll be some clowns out there that'll ask for his head as soon as he loses one game. But we're going to have to be patient. And like Saeed said, it's a rebuild again. We're rebuilding the rebuild. And it's a case of it's got to be done properly. Are they going to go out and recruit the right people? Are they going to keep Ralph in his role? Are they going to allow him to nurture advice to Ten Hag and then him act upon that? Are we going to go and get a Paul Mitchell, someone that's got elite level footballing appreciation in the world game, of people knowing that he's very good at what he does? Are they going to bring people in like that? If they bring people in like Paul Mitchell, I'm not saying they have to bring him in, by the way. There's a lot of good directors of football out there, but they need the right people in that know the game and understand the game, and they have to change a lot. I said it a long time ago on here. They have to change their structure on recruitment. They need to be looking in different markets now. They can't be going for the key player all the time, the big, massive English player, because for every Rice, there's a Basuma, or there's another guy in France, Tchouaméni. Like, it has to change now, and they have to look at every single aspect of the club. And
can we get them though, mate? Can we get them? That's the problem.
Can
we get them?
But there will be players that want to come and play for us side, and I feel like we are completely shopping in a different pool now. I'm sure you'll agree with that. We're not going to be getting them key players now, but I would like to see like how he can sort of maybe bring players in that are under the radar or that are not going to be everybody's cup. Like, he's been linked with Haller. I don't know if any of you've seen that he wants to bring Haller with him. Obviously plays for West Ham on loan at Ajax. I think he's one of the top goal scorers in Europe on statistical based. And the United fans are like, oh, he's not good enough. Well, wait a minute. Like, if he wants him, allow him to bring him in, and then we'll judge him when he's in the shirt. But I feel like if we make the same mistakes on recruitment, we're just going to end up having a bad team again. And that's the one thing I'm clinging on to. This season's been an absolute nightmare. And as I said earlier, I just feel hollow with it. And I'm sure you boys do as well. I can't wait for it to be over, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean,
again, I was away on holiday and it's nice. It is nice, but I don't need 5 of them. I just went to Barcelona once this year, so
I mean, says something, mate. You said it there, like, don't know how we do it. I think I'm going to my when we finish at Crystal Palace, that will be my 46th game this season.
You need a holiday.
Yeah, I need an holiday, yeah. But the only one I'm looking forward to is the one on Wednesday, which is the FA Youth Cup final.
Yeah, man, definitely.
No surprise. I think the state of the season, the reason why we've actually, obviously tickets are cheap, but now on 60,000 people for an FA Youth Cup final.
Yeah,
it kind of says everyone just wants to watch a decent game of football, doesn't it? To me, that's
exactly
what that shouts out to me. And for them to fill near enough fill Old Trafford is absolutely amazing. But
some happiness, say.
Yeah, I mean, we can only look at that, Doug. Really, that youth team could be our shining light out of all of this. We can't bring that many players in this summer. We know that. Like Jamie just said, then we're fishing from a different pond. Maybe this is where we may uncover a decent player in our own ranks, which we haven't done for a long time. Yeah, could say Rashford, Greenwood, and whatnot, but it's under the right coaching, like Bream said in his super chats before. Them players coming through under the right coaching setup could be key this time, because none of the ones that have come through recently have had any structure or consistency in that coaching setup. Well, they've been in that senior United shirt.
Well, if there's one thing that we can maybe take as a potential positive is obviously we know that Ten Hag, used to work underneath Pep. And if you look at the way that Pep treated Phil Foden, right, he didn't immediately just toss Foden in. He made him earn his stripes, work his way in, and he slowly brought him in. And now Foden obviously is, I would argue, probably a pretty world-class talent, right? Or at least he's getting to that point where he's showing some consistencies and showing what he can do, and he's an integral part, obviously, of the city 11 now. So likewise could be said for our youth players. Is I think we tend to overhype them, and then due to, like we've been saying, our inconsistencies from a managerial perspective, Greenwood not developed. Rashford looks the same as what he's always just looked the same, right? I have not seen him develop his game whatsoever, which some partially his fault, but also partially the fault of the system that he's been playing in, right? Or the manager carousel that he's had to be a part of. So I want to start to see some of these guys come through and actually truly develop. And the ones who can't, sell them. It's fine. It just didn't work out here. It's no hard feelings. Yeah. We can't sit here and be butthurt that he was an academy player. How can you get rid of him? It didn't work, right? You can't just hold dead weight, because again, that's when we end up 3 to 4 years from now in the same position we're in right now. So
exactly,
see how it goes. I know Saeed said last week that he was excited to see the preseason. I agree with him. I want to see what Ten Hag's going to do. It's going to be fascinating times, and let's just see if he can truly develop some of these guys into another class of 92-esque type thing where these guys become world-class talent.
Exactly that. Guys, we actually ran out of time. Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, one thing that has come out this weekend is a good show on a Sunday afternoon anyway. So
Yeah.
don't forget to hit that like button on your way out, people, as well. Give the video a like and subscribe to Adam Match TV, my channel. I'll be over on the United Stand at 8 o'clock with a full panel going to town. Trust me. All that's left to say is cheers for the super chats, the chats, everyone. Absolutely brilliant in the comment section. Jamie, let's give the people a shout out where they can connect with you on socials before you go, mate.
Yeah, just my my line on screen there. Just that's my Instagram and Twitter, so that's where you'll get me if you do want to interact with me at all.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Doug, still on the the not wanted list.
Yeah. I'm still off the grid right now.
Yeah, great. Keep on drinking, mate. It'll get you through this bad time, mate. That's it. Enjoy life, pal. Enjoy it. Cheers for coming on, Doug, mate. Said, mate, Said TV, what's happening? Is it therapy session tomorrow? Nuruddin on?
Yeah, Nuruddin, yeah. Podcast, Straight Jacket Podcast, people. Always on a Monday, 5:30. Check it out. No doubtly you'll get some real truths on there. But yeah, subscribe to the channel. Approaching 50K, so big up to everybody supporting, man.
Boom. That is the one, guys. Get onto that as well. Cheers for tuning in, everybody. Thanks. It's been an amazing show. Catch me on the United Stand, 8 o'clock. I'll be on there breaking everything down in more detail with some other topics as well, which you want to get into and pay attention to. But cheers for coming on, everybody, and cheers for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. I will see you through the week. FA Youth Cup final next. Something decent.